Jesus Christ of Nazareth, the third Patriarch of Zen, and you. We hope that at last you are beginning to look at the out-of-this-world assertion of Jesus in his Course in Miracles. You understand that it says initially, and in the totality of the expression of it, that this objective world is not a reality. Does everybody understand that? Is there anyone here, I'm curious, that has a question that is what it says? This has nothing to do with the acceptance or the denial of it. It has to do with the fundamental admission that objectivity is illusionary, that any association of cause and effect that gives form or location or temporalness in the relationship with apparent passage of time is an illusion. Once more, I'm going to do this because for some reason or other, this has always been accepted conceptually as the picture or representation of any human being who has come to some form of sanity. Any human being that comes to any form of sanity may ultimately describe it in conditions relative to his vocabulary possibility. But what he will express through revelation is the self-certainty that he is a whole part of eternal reality, and that this world is simply not real in any regard whatsoever. It is very important that you get this so that you will stop doing conceptual comparisons of religion or philosophical associations dedicated to expressions of the truth in relationship to the illusion rather than the experience thereof. If you're going to teach A Course in Miracles, the great discovery that you will make is that the Course in Miracles is the Rig Veda, for example. For goodness sake, philosophers, all we are really teaching you is that your subjective mind, in the totality of your own individual cause and effect relationship, was miscreated, an objective association. That's exactly what we're saying. Now, whether you are interested in it or not, I don't know. But somebody is going to come to you finally and say, "Oh, I know what you're doing. You're teaching the same thing as the third Patriarch of Zen." Well, I'm the third Patriarch. I'm teaching from the same mind. If you can hear the third Patriarch of Zen and you read chapter 7 of A Course in Miracles, they will express exactly the same thing. The third Patriarch of Zen, or any mind in the discovery of wholeness, indeed including Jesus in his Sermon on the Mount, is not going to say anything different from what you will and must and did come to know in your own illusion to be the truth of your own reality. The problem, obviously, is the necessity at this time in space for your personal admission of the necessity for you individually in your own constructed delusion to pay attention to what the third Patriarch of Zen tells you. Zen is an active Buddhism. That is, it is active to the extent that it teaches the possibility of a vacant mind. It teaches to the immediate experience of awakening through a constancy of divine negation. The whole Course in Miracles teaches, vacate your mind. The whole Course is to vacate your mind. In the workbook it says, just for a moment, don't correspond with the illusion. And if you vacate your mind, it will immediately be filled with reality. Well, that's what the Course in Miracles says, that your objective self-concepts are dark barriers that blind you to the eternal light that is all around you. The act of the vacation of the objective association is what a miracle is. Zen may say that it is transcendence, and then along comes Jesus and says, "You bet, not only is it transcendence, but it involves the totality of your individual, personal identity." So does the third Patriarch. The fourth patriarch said, no, that's not so. So all the patriarchs got various ideas about what the teachings are. The truth of the matter is there is no real association except in totality between objective spatial time reality and the essence of a creating God, except in the inclusion of your own objectivity through the miracle of the non-association of your objective form. If you're going to teach this with me, you can throw out all the other stuff. You're teaching the action of the conversion of the individual, human, objective man. It has nothing to do with all the Course in Miracles groups. It doesn't have anything to do with groups at all. It has to do with the transformation of your own individual objective mind. Don't search in there. All your searching, says the third Patriarch of Zen, will cause you to re-illusion, because you are basing your objective reality on the continuation of the illusion rather than the release of it. I ran into him over in Portage. The third patriarch is making noodles in a Chinese restaurant in Portage. Yes, of course. He's a nice young fellow. He looked at me and just went right into a totality of his association. He wears some sort of dress. His name is Wan Hung Lo. It's a step. Then you take the step 2. Non Hung Lo. Don't try to separate your ancestral memories. You are learning to release the necessity for the objective correspondence in the precious associations of your bodily identity, and you are experiencing the joy and happiness of the eternity that is all around you. How very simple. It will astonish you that if you got a specialist in Zen who shaves his head and put his 2 fingers together, he has absolutely no intention, none, of reading the third Patriarch of Zen. He couldn't possibly have any intention of reading the third Patriarch of Zen because I found the third Patriarch of Zen's little booklet. I didn't know I had it. It has coffee stains all over it. He handed this to me when I went over for Chinese food. This says, Sing Sing Ming verses, Faith Mind by Zen Shan, the third Patriarch of Zen. I'm going to take a look at this. I wonder what this is about. Look here what it attempts. Make the smallest distinction, however, and heaven and earth are set infinitely apart. If you wish to see the truth, then hold no opinions for or against anyone. Well, that sounds very much like the very fundamental teachings of Jesus. This is what you are practicing, isn't it? You say, how can I not hold any opinions? Not holding opinions will be the same as holding opinions. I'm sure he will probably say that. And that will become very obscure then to the Zen specialist. So he will try to define what not holding opinions means, and of course, being a specialist in definition of Zen, he does. The way is perfect, like vast space. There's nothing lacking and nothing is in excess. Indeed, it is due to our choosing to accept or reject that we do not see the true nature of things. Live neither in the entanglements of your outer things, nor in the inner feelings of emptiness. That's not totally acceptable to the Buddhist establishment, since that's what the third Patriarch Zen says. I'm sure he didn't last very long. Be serene in the oneness of things, and what will happen? And such erroneous views will disappear by themselves. Well, that sounds very familiar. That's the whole course. Jesus says they will disappear by themselves. If you don't hold them in your mind, they will simply disappear because you are the cause of them in a relationship of your own mind. You are the correspondent. You respond to them according to the dictates of your previously projected mind. No wonder you're an illusion. This will say you are nothing but effects of effects. You are in an illusion. That's what this says. Well, it's said that for 3,000 years, 3,800 as a matter of fact, it has said for 3,800 years that you are in a nightmare of your own dream. The problem, obviously, is there's no one here who has awakened through the auspices of Zen. And if they have, they are not here. That was the provision of Jesus of Nazareth 2,000 years ago, which is nothing but the activity of Zen, which he will attempt to express in here. The third patriarch says passivity is totally active. He says that. Then he was really rejected because they thought to sit and be passive in your mind was the way. Virtually everyone in this new mind association has far surpassed any so-called Zen master there would ever be. Zen is not going to transcendent. I'm talking about Zen Buddhism now. That's just crap. It is not going transcendent and then coming back into the world. Zen is the transformation of the illusion to the certainty of wholeness. Don't be misled. So in that sense, when somebody asks you what you are, you say, I'm a Zen master. Don't make such a big deal about it. Not only that, you have become active in your physical Buddhism, or what you call Shaktipat. That you can, in physical activity in Buddhism, change the correspondence of your own illusion. Is that so? This is a nice little pamphlet. Those who do not live in the single way fail in both activity and passivity, assertion and denial. The changes that appear to occur in the nothing world we call real, and only because of our ignorance. Do not search for the truth, only cease to cherish opinion. In the chase of this and that, the mind essence will be lost in confusion. Although all dualism comes from the one, do not be attached even to this one. That's an out-of-time statement. That's being translated from something 3,800 years old. That's how simple it is. Listen, when the mind exists undisturbed in the miracle, which is the way, he calls it the way, the holy instant. When the mind exists in the miracle, nothing in the world can offend. And when a thing can no longer offend, it ceases to exist in the old way. The thing ceases to exist. He is teaching Zen. He is teaching, change your mind and the world will change. Isn't that amazing? When no discriminating thoughts arise, and this is the whole course, when no discrimination, when you walk in here as a human being and have practiced your own conversion to the reality of universal mind sufficiently, so it is no longer necessary for you to discriminate your own cause and effect relationships, all of which are caused only by your illusory mind. The old mind ceases to exist. Once more, the human mind ceases to exist. Of course, its existence dependent on a discrimination of the association of the objective form. Has anybody tried to teach Zen Buddhism this way? Wow, this is an astonishing sentence. When no discriminating thoughts arise, I will not let my old thoughts to be a guide to me now. Everybody got that? Do you understand? This is from the Zen master. The old mind ceases to exist. When thought objects vanish, the thinking subject vanishes. That is going into light and disappearing. Obviously, the thinking subject would vanish because he is the cause of his own objectivity. That's literally true, isn't that amazing? You didn't know that was in this. Thousands of these have been printed from Virginia Beach and distributed thousands of them. Of course, 1 million Course in Miracles have been printed. Do you understand me? You're going out into a world that has refused to hear the very fundamental essence that is the requirement for the transformation from objectivity to creative reality, to a universal mind. There is no other manner in which it can be done. That is why we say there is no other manner in which it can be done, by the association of your own mind. How simple is the solution? Is that Zen Buddhism? A moment of Zen and you're gone from here. That's what a miracle mind is. When thought objects vanish, the thinking subject vanishes, as when the mind vanishes, objects vanish. That's saying cause and effect. It's saying it both ways. In case you didn't get it one way, he gave it to you the other way. You are both the cause and the effect in your own association. Things are objects because of the subject mind. The mind subject is such because of the thing's object. This is the whole Course in Miracles. It is a cause and effect relationship. The form is never real. It's an illusion of your own mind. Understanding the relativity of these two and the basis, reality, the unity of emptiness, understanding the relativity of these two is true perception. You understand the association in its entirety. Someone called me on the phone last night and was expressing the third Patriarch of Zen, saying, "What do you do when you have the certainty of the wholeness of your mind?" There's obviously no manner in which you, as the Zen Master, as the Savior of the world, as Christ, are going to be able to express this in a perceptual association. But you can show them through the unity of your mind, the unity of theirs. First of all, because they are objects of your mind. I'm into healing for a minute, and you have caused them to be objectively sick and to die by the definition of yourself. That's what this says. And when you change your mind, the entire objective association will undergo a radical reassociation because of the body, because the body at no single moment is real at all, but only an illusion contained within the objective form. What's the big deal about what we just said? The salvation of the world depends on you, not as some sort of abstractedness or transcendentalism, but as an existent reality contained within your own self-identity. The Savior of the Christ, the Savior of the Son of God, is yourself, your objectivity. Of course, in this emptiness, the two are indistinguishable, and each contains in itself the whole world. That's about as good as you will get. He's trying to express something that he has experienced, just as you are going to try to attempt something that you are experiencing. That is what you call a holy relationship. It is a direct admission of the totality of the association without any possibility of anything more than a momentary necessity for a correspondence of the limitation, which is the provision for the miracle. Without that provision, you're gone. So all you really do is convert the objectivity constantly into a new condition of reality. That's what I'm doing with you right now, and that's what I do. I'm a Zen master, but instead of sitting on my buns and humming, I've brought Christianity, which is the conversion or the resurrection of my body into the association. Obviously, transcendentalism is a step, because if you go back to Rig Veda, what happened is the correlation of an attempt to correspond objective reality. We evolved from the Rig Veda, which says exactly this. If you go to the Veda, it will say this. The other Vedas begin to slide off, and suddenly you've got a caste system. Suddenly you have associations all working to bring about associations with each other. Hinduism, the admission of the possibility of an ascendance based on definitional associations of limitation, expressed within the entire congruity of space and time. When you do that, you will need Buddhism to get out. Hinduism couldn't possibly work. How could it? It is a definition of the objective association. It is the admission of the possibility of evolution from the untouchable to the Brahmin. But there is no element of transcendence in it, and that is how Buddhism came about. Christianity obviously followed that. How could it not? Once you have the admission of the possibility of the transcendence regardless of the condition, which is what Buddhism is, Buddhism was not obviously concerned about any caste system whatsoever. All it formed then was a priesthood of an entirely different caste in order not to admit to the simple truth of what it says. I see we have a new Dalai Lama. He's 7 years old and they have a big fight going on because the communist Chinese have their own Dalai Lama. And the Dalai Lama here has got his own Lama. Why don't you call him on the phone and tell him you are the reincarnation? Are you? You bet. In its entirety. Boy, talk about definitions limiting associations. Do you see how incredible that is? If you do not discriminate between coarse and fine, you will not be tempted to prejudice an opinion. That means, look through it. When you see something coarse, don't attempt to distinguish between something that is rare and something that is thicker. That is the whole Course in Miracles. Don't distinguish. It is the admission of the objectivity with the certainty that any discrimination will be a form of opinion that will hold you in the bondage of your own conceptual mind, isn't it? And that's obviously what you have done. In this translation from the Chinese, coarse and fine are not a very good translation. Another translation of coarse and fine probably would be better. Probably particle and wave would be closer. Can you hear that? Don't distinguish between the particle and the wave because they are both finally going to be the same thing. When he tries to express it in translation, it came out from the Cantonese. It came out more like chop suey. So we are smoothing that out for you. Put a little sauce, a little soy sauce in it. We're trying to smooth out our minds so that you won't get caught in your own chow mein or in your own prognostications. You find in it fortune cookies. I would love to see Course in Miracles fortune cookies. The world you see has nothing to do with reality. You crack them open and you have an experience. You can improvise, stand by, we are beaming you up. Isn't that not amazing? How many oysters will you crack looking for a pearl worth any price? It's the same idea. We're always searching for that one truth. And finally, we discovered that it is in us. And that's what this says. Isn't that lovely? To live in the great way, to live in the holy instant, to live with the will of God is neither easy nor difficult. It is only different. Isn't that amazing? Who would have thought that they would say that? It is only different. But those with limited views are fearful and irresolute. The faster they hurry, the slower they go. And that's the exact truth. It's just going to take them that much more time because they are frantically looking for the solution. Are you ready? And clinging, what you call attachment, what he calls objective reality, limitations, ego, clinging attachment, cannot be limited at all. If there is any clinging at all, it will be a totality of clinging, is what he says. So. This is very extreme. This sounds just like A Course in Miracles, even to be attached to the idea of enlightenment. Don't depend on the means. The means are also an illusion. Don't depend on them. Even to be attached to the idea of enlightenment is to go astray. Just let things be in their own way, and they will be neither coming nor going. This is the whole Course in Miracles. You appear here, you let things be what they are, and you couldn't possibly have a problem because you are not going to associate with your own effects. If you do that, there will not be a coming or a going. You simply cease to be here at all. This is the statement, that this is a coming and going, in case you would like to know. Anyone attempting to describe what is occurring in your own mind might very well write this in Chinese. Why wouldn't he? He needs to express it in some way. Obey the nature of things, your own nature, and you will walk freely and undisturbed. When thought is in bondage, the truth is hidden, for everything is murky and unclear. So much of the Course teaches this. You can't get a decent reflection because your thoughts cloud up the simple truth through the projections of your own mind. Wow, what an amazing idea! For everything is murky and unclear, and the burdensome practice of judging brings annoyance and weariness. Jesus asked this all the time. What benefit can be derived from distinctions and separations? He is just trying to express the futility of dealing with human beings that are looking for a solution to the problem when the only benefit you could possibly get from your own objective association is your own termination. What possible benefit could you get from your own identity? If you wish to move in the way, listen, the wise man strives to know goals, but the foolish man fetters himself. There is one Dharma, not many. This is of the reduction of Buddhism to multiple Dharmas really annoys me. The whole teaching is there is no one illusion, not many. How could a Buddhist possibly put on a red robe and bang gongs when it says that? Then again, how could somebody pick up A Course in Miracles and not immediately spring into heaven? All he would have to do is to make the admission that it came from out of time. It is that simple. Well, nobody seems to have gotten it in 3,800 years. What did I just say, dummy? This was the only one that hasn't gotten it, and it is you. It says there's only one Dharma. Well, is Dharma the effect of karma? I just read to you. They are interchangeable. The whole Course in Miracles says Dharma and karma are the same thing. That's what it says. First, you don't depend on the Dharma, and then you transform your own karma. That's what we're really saying. Initially, you intermix what you call environment and heredity, which is Dharma and karma. They've got a show. They're going to put on a show on Saturday night, Dharma and karma. Can you get it? Karma does the lyrics and Dharma does the music. Isn't the melody all mixed up and the words are simply the karma of your own mind? Well, that was pretty good, wasn't it? There's one Dharma, not many. Distinctions, separations, objective reality, arise from the possession of clinging needs of the ignorant, quite literally nothingness. To see mind, reality, with the discriminating conceptual mind is the greatest of all mistakes. And finally, the only mistake. There's no sin connected with Buddhism because there is no necessity for conversion. Sin comes about with an attempt to associate the objective with the subjective, the idea that sin could be corrected outside of you. No wonder the Course in Miracles isn't accepted. The Course teaches you flat out, if sickness is real, it could never be corrected. And that by the acknowledgement, this is chapter 27, of the sickness, you kill it rather than heal it. The acknowledgement of the disease is an acknowledgement of the correspondence. What an amazing idea. to seek reality with